Hello everyone. So in this tutorial we are gonna set up our environment. Why we need to set up environment? Let me answer that for you. So you see that our PocketBase has the URL. So this is kind of our localhost URL as of now for iOS specific, right? But when we're gonna publish our app to production, we will not have this URL. But still, we gonna have this URL for us only when we are developing the app. That's why we need to check something like that. If okay, debug mode, yeah, we can check that way if this is the debug mode app and or this is our main office our .com/api, something like that, right? So for debug mode, when we are locally testing our app, we wanna still have that localhost URL, but for production we can do this way. But you can understand that we have to do this if else condition checks in a lot of the places, because there will be some API token and all sort of things we need to check for debug mode for specifically for us, but in production that will be different. So that's why we need to set up our environment here. So instead of doing that, instead of doing this, what we do, we'll go to our file explorer and create another folder which will be core. No, we can create the folder inside our app core, and inside that we can call environment. So let me rename it for good. So im dot right, and here what we will have, that here we will have is basic environment for us. So that would be, let me type it first, then I can explain. So value would be this one, and we need to final static late in value, right? So this is our basic environment setup. Now for PocketBase, we can define a late string for PocketBase URL, right? And so this is our basic environment setup, and as you can see, we already have our flavor for development, production, and staging. So this is our flavor, right? So what we can do, we can define a staging environment which will extends our env. So we can define that way, and once we define that way, we can also set up the PocketBase URL. So let me code it first. So let's rename it to just staging, no need for environment, or let's skip it, and this would be our and inside that so if we mark it as a string PocketBase URL, no, this here, so inside that we can set PocketBase URL to our string. So this would be our PocketBase URL for staging environment, and for production we will have something different. So just copy paste it here. And for production we are gonna not have something like that, but instead we will have officehour.com/api. Yeah, so production that will be this, and for staging this one. But there's one caveat as well. For staging, as you can see, we are developing for iOS, that's why the localhost URL is this one. But for Android, that is quite different. Platform. If platform is Android, then that would be something like this. HTTP. So that is also mentioned in the documentation. You can check 8090. So this is actually for Android, and later one is for iOS. So this is our all environment, and we can set the environment inside our app boot up. So how we can do that? Let's go to our start staging. So inside our bootstrap, we can also pass staging environment, and inside the bootstrap we can receive the environment. And this should be possible, right? So user or yeah, so that solves this. So feature all is like you need to set this way, otherwise it will not work. Now all we have to do, we have to do the same for our development. Main dot staging, main dot production. We have to do the same for our production as well. So production in, yeah, and I think we are already good for these two. We don't need the development, so we can delete it here. Now if we quit and run the staging, so instead of development, if we run the staging, it should work as like before. So just give it time and it will work. So this is how we can set our environment variable, but we haven't used that inside our PocketBase. So if we go to our onboarding page, and inside this we can easily call n.value n.value.pocketbase URL. So if we read on the app, it will work this way. Anyway, so that was previous one. So this is how we can set up environment, and for staging it will get the PocketBase URL. So in the next tutorial we are going to set up our the so long dependency injection service locator. So till then, bye.